You're listening to The Real Short Box, a comic book podcast made for geeks by geeks.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in and listening to The Real Short Box. My name is Sexy Donald, and I am here with Hunky Chris Turner. Thanks for joining, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've got our sexy voices on today because we are talking about comic books to make love to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And what we mean by that is actually a little different than what the title is. We mean comic book characters we'd like to see hook up. And why we think that? Well, that's just between me, Chris, and that pony we had at that hotel room that time.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, this should be a fun one. Before we even started, we threw out one right away. So I think that that would be a good one to start with. I had mentioned She-Hulk and wondering who would be a good potential mate for her. But I said it couldn't be Bruce Banner because they're cousins. You said.
I said it's legal in Vermont.
And I said, this isn't that type of podcast, Chris. So
I thought about who's a monstrous, not monstrous in size, who could just totally just like bend over and rail her. And I thought of Lobo.
Jesus. He's not going to bring her flowers. Let's be real. This is like, we're talking like when She-Hulk's at her most savage. Probably somebody like Lobo would be one of the few that could, so to speak, tame her or like be as savage back or be able to handle her type of savagery.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to be one of those people. He's going to come, he's going to rough her up a bit and make her angrier and angrier and angrier because he likes it.
Yeah, you're probably right. And, even if she like basically rips him apart, he has a healing factor so he can bring himself back together again, which is great. And we're talking about a guy that's gone toe to toe with Superman and was fine afterwards. I mean, he flew off on his bike, Superman flew away, and that was the end of it. Anybody that can go toe to toe with Superman can probably handle She-Hulk pretty easily, or, comparably, let's say. So I think that's a good choice, She-Hulk and Lobo. So we've got those two paired off. You can imagine, like, if this was a speed dating for superheroes, so to speak. Let's try one. I have one I'm going to throw out here. How about Ant-Man? Now, I know Ant-Man, yes, Ant-Man's been married or is married or, could be married. But let's pretend that Ant-Man's single and ready to mingle. Who would we have Ant-Man pair up with?
You'd have to go with the thunder thighs of Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
I mean, Ant-Man could grow however big he wants. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Actually, he'd be good She-Hulk choice too because he can get bigger. She gets bigger. He gets bigger.
Well, I was thinking Titania.
I don't know that one. I don't know that character.
Titania, if I recall, is a DC character, and she can enlarge herself to epic proportions. So, I think that in that realm, she would be a good fit. As far as like shrinking down, I don't think she has the ability to do that.
Is she based on the character from Shakespeare?
I don't believe so. No, no, not to my knowledge. But you never know. Could be, possibly, maybe, doubtful.
Probably. I'm sure there is a comic book out there somewhere of her. I'm sure they've made a Midsummer Night's Dream comic book somewhere with that character in there, but not DC, probably.
Probably not. No. We've all possibly, maybe not all of us, but if anybody goes to comic book conventions, you always go past a booth that has a little X-rated box and it says, adults only. And, you are like, should I look? And then you're like, I'm curious. And then you stop and you peek and you'll see things like sex men or, other parodies of comic book characters in very promiscuous type of situations. And it does make you think, hey, who would be a good pairing for this character? And that's not just in the way we're talking, like romantically, but we're also talking physically too. Would be a good match. So if we did, let's say for example, if we threw out Benjamin Grimm, the Thing, basically made of rock, who would be a good female equivalent for Benjamin Grimm?
Are there any superheroes that are made of like diamond? Because rock is crushed diamond, or diamond is crushed rock. I mean, the
White Queen.
There you go.
She actually can create diamond-like skin. So yeah, actually, if she did that, they would pair up pretty well physically, I would imagine. Yeah, when you think about it in the comic book world, Benjamin Grimm, he was always dating, for the longest time, he was dating this blind girl. And that's kind of funny because she, saw him for him as far as like who he truly was inside, not what he looked like. And we get that, and that makes sense. But you have to also think about the physical aspect of this situation. And if they ever did want to become romantic, I don't see that working very well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how a man that's made out of rock is going to be able to, work well with a lady. That's
unless he's like a turtle and he has like a thing that protrudes out of the thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what his biology is.
We don't know the situation, but we definitely both sound like Brody from Mallrats when he's discussing I think his name's Brody. When he's discussing, kept asking Stan Lee about who could have sex with who and why, which cracks me up.
All right, speaking of turtles, I got one. All right, so Ninja Turtles, man, they get a lot of disrespect, or one of them gets a lot of disrespect. Michelangelo. Who could we hook him up with?
Michelangelo?
Yes.
Huh. We'd want to look like something anamorphic, perhaps. Some type of anamorphic character. I'm not sure.
Would we, though? Because, I mean, Donnie and April, I'm sure they've,
And now, is Michelangelo, he's straight?
I think out of all of them, he's probably the straightest.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's very progressive though. Maybe he's bi. Maybe he goes both ways. Maybe he sees the person and not the sex.
Yeah, I could see that. That would make sense. But I think maybe I might have somebody in my head that could work. But I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of the Serpent Society?
I can't say that I have. No.
Well, the Serpent Society, a number of villains with snake-themed powers. And that was from Marvel Comics. I believe they first appeared in a Captain America comic book, if I recall. I think it was, it was Captain America 310. Now that I think hard on it. Yeah. That was in the mid 80s that came out. An interesting concept for these characters. And I believe, if I recall, I can't remember which one was, I think Diamondback would be a good fit. Diamondback was Rachel Leighton, I think, or Layton. She was an acrobat who uses diamond-shaped throwing blades, many of which are equipped with anything from poison, explosives, narcotics, and acid. She eventually defected from the team and became a lover/partner with Captain America. But she eventually attempted to rejoin the Serpent Society. So she's been back and forth, between good and bad. So she's got that kind of a bad girl vibe that I think somebody like Mikey would be somewhat kind of drawn to. And with this kind of like a serpent tie, you know, he'd be like, man, she's cold-blooded, and by some strange coincidence, so am I. So it's possible. She's not, she's not a lizard or anything. She's not a snake technically, in any term whatsoever. But I think that she would fit pretty good with Mikey's personality and fun-lovingness. So I would say Diamondback.
Okay, well, I'm glad we found somebody. They all have one. Raphael has the fox, and Donatello has April, and Leo has Karai.
Donatello has April? I thought it was Casey.
Well, not really, but I mean, I'm sure everyone has the fantasies of that happening. It's an alternate, bizarro world.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jenica wasn't such a badass, Michelangelo might have a chance, but definitely not.
Yeah, probably not. She's probably pining for somebody else. One of the what was that? That was the frog people, the frog surfers or whatever. Remember those guys?
I do remember those guys, but I think the only frog in the new IDW series with Jenica is it Napoleon?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you're
Napoleon
right.
Napoleon Bonafrog.
Yeah. That was him. I remember that. Yeah. Funny. Boy, I forgot all about that. Forgot his name anyway. Yeah, you're right. Napoleon Bonafrog. But
I imagine her more like the Ava character from Legends of Tomorrow, where she really is kind of asexual because she's just such a hard ass foot soldier type person.
Yeah.
Or really she was in love with Shredder the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, she could easily be in love with somebody like Shredder, like a real bad guy type thing, and want to change him for the better, have a project, so to speak. I have a good one here. I'm just going to throw this one out. This is going to be a tough one, I think, though. What about the Tick? Yeah.
It's definitely a tough one. Actually, really not, because he's a lovable, goofy guy. I mean, so
right. Who would be a good match for a lovable, goofy guy?
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, are there any lovable, goofy female characters? You know a lot more about comics than I do, so
I think I might have one. I'm thinking Squirrel Girl.
I was kind of thinking that too. Actually, she's probably a little young for him, but
possibly, yeah, she might be a little bit young. But let's age her 10 years, age him 10 years. And so then, she's in her mid-30s or whatever, and he's in probably his 50s. We don't really know his age. We don't know anything really about him other than the fact that he's nigh invulnerable and he's probably crazy. But he loves justice and loves fighting for it. And so does Squirrel Girl. And she somehow always finds a way to win, and he somehow always finds a way to win. And I feel like she could be like, oh, you big dumb lug, let's go out to dinner. And he'd be like, yes, excellent spoon. And then they run off. He picks her up and throws her over his shoulder, and she's giggling, and they're jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and then they go have Chinese food.
I mean, I can definitely see that. I'm actually seeing this romantic comedy playing out in my head right now between the two of them. Just such a silly little the Tick. I don't know. Strolling through the park, and then they take different approaches to catch a mugger, and then they go back to strolling through the park again. Silly little music playing in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. I think that works. Yep, and then Arthur flying around in the background into shit,
But here's the big question, though, since we're talking about comic books and love.
Yeah.
Does Tick use the spoon?
Of course he has to, right? I mean, he would have to at least spoon her in bed.
Oh, there we go. You can see it. He's like spooning her, and he goes, "Spoon."
Right. He just keeps muttering it.
Spoon.
She's like, shut up. I want to go to sleep. He's like, spoon, spoon. Yeah, I could totally see that.
No, I'll have to do that next time I spoon somebody. I'm going to go, "Spoon." And they're going to have no idea what I'm talking about, but it'll be you and I will, and it'll be hilarious.
Yep. Yeah. Not many people, but there are some people out there still. Some people will understand our sense of humor with that. I'm sure at least 4 people listening to this podcast will get it and go, yes, this is amazing. I don't know about
all of you out there. Next time you spoon with somebody, try it and let us know how it goes.
Yes, let us know how it works. Okay, so I've got, let's see, got another list here of characters I guess I could think about in my head. Trying to think. What about Howard the Duck? Who would we have Howard the Duck pair up with?
I mean, doesn't he pair up with what's her name from Back to the Future?
Well, yeah, I mean in the comics, but again, we're playing this a little fast and loose. So let's say Howard the Duck, he doesn't have anybody. Howard's on his own. He's just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. He doesn't have anybody. He's just a boozer that was in a tank, basically, or in a cage. So we've got a drunk duck that needs a partner. So who?
Well, there's a couple. I think there's a couple choices that we could go with. One would be Vixen because she likes animals.
Okay.
Hawk Girl because she's like birdie type thing.
All right.
Are there any other girls any other female superheroes that are like have birds, harbor powers, or have? Hey, maybe Eagly is a girl, and then he can hook up with Eagly.
Howard the Duck and Eagly. For those that don't know, Eagly is the new sidekick for Peacemaker on the new HBO series. If you have not been watching it, you should, because it's a lot of fun. Geez. Yeah, I'm trying to think with Howard the Duck. This one's tough for me.
So we need either someone who likes birds or someone who likes booze.
And somebody that doesn't care about traditional norms, about how somebody really technically looks or is. I'm going to throw this outside of the box here. I'm going to say, what about Mystique?
I mean, why not? I mean, she can kind of change into whatever she wants.
Right.
Like, so yeah. She wants to be a duck. She can be a goddamn duck.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Another one would be, let's see, what was her name? Vi, who was the female version of the Vision. She could be an interesting pairing.
I was going to go really outside the box here because just thinking about her character and thinking about it's probably a terrible pairing, but I don't know. I feel like they could be a cute couple together. I don't know. But I was thinking like Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, huh? You know what? That's not terrible. She's kind of crazy.
She's kind of crazy, and like I don't know. He's kind of got that personality. I think that she could be attracted to him.
You know what? I think that's probably it. I think that could work really well. Yeah, he's got that kind of almost cheeky, almost somewhat abusive type personality to him. Like he's just gruff, not the nicest person in the world. And she's drawn to that kind of thing, to that kind of personality. Yeah, I think you're right. That would be a good fit. I think that's a good one. Yeah. So we may have just paired up Howard the Duck with Harley Quinn.
Lucky man.
Yeah.
Or lucky duck, I guess.
Yeah, really. Huh. Wow. Okay. Well, I think in a Howard the Duck comic, I think Gwenpool made her first appearance, which is the combination of Gwen Stacy as Deadpool or being a Deadpool type character, because they did Spider-Gwen, and that took off like a rocket. So they were like, let's do Gwenpool. which is a very different character, of course. A very odd book. But, nonetheless, Howard the Duck also had a lot of appearances in She-Hulk comics, from sensational She-Hulk on to some of her newer stuff here in the last 10 years that's come out. He's been in that as well. Her sensational She-Hulk run I'm referring to from the 90s, I believe. Howard the Duck was in that also. And Howard the Duck was an interesting creation. First appeared, in the same comic, I believe, with Man-Thing, in the same comic book as Man-Thing, which is also an interesting thing to have happen, of Steve Gerber creation on that. So that's kind of funny.
Do you know who created Howard the Duck?
Steve Gerber.
Oh, it's Steve Gerber. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, created him as kind of a satirical, satirical character for a lot of things, a lot of reasons, for politics, for the state of the nation, for just dark humor in general, that kind of stuff. So it's a very fascinating character and a lot of fun. And I will fight you to this day that I believe that Howard the Duck movie that came out in the 80s is great and deserves to be revisited.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I love the movie. I probably watched, probably one of the movies I've watched the most. Besides like Love Actually or like the Star Wars movies. I tend to watch it every couple of years because I just get a huge kick out of it.
Yeah.
But I think he would be. I think he would be very proud of our choice for his duck.
I think so too. And Jeffrey Jones, say what you will about his background and things that he's done. Let's not go with the personal level of him. Let's go from an acting standpoint. Jeffrey Jones was fantastic in that film as the scientist that got possessed by these demonic kind of an alien thing that is yearning to break out of his body and take over the world with his other brethren that are coming through the portal from another planet. So it was a really cool concept, a very great, I thought, great idea. And as a kid, I loved it. So, and like I said, I still do to this day. I think it's a lot of fun.
If you haven't seen it, those of you out there, if you haven't seen it, make love while watching the movie and let us know how it went.
Yes, particularly when the theme song comes on that he's singing with her on the stage, the Howard the Duck. Yeah, that'll work really well. You can get your rhythm going, it'll be so much fun. Yeah, you'll very much enjoy it. So okay, we've got time for a couple more here. Let's see, you have any others in on the top of your head there?
No.
Oh, that took forever. Let me think. No, I got nothing. Okay. I'm going to throw one out here. What about, I think I've kind of mentioned this a little bit before, in other podcasts, but not like all the way. So I'm going to go Star Fox. And Star Fox is a character. He's basically an Eternal. And he's related to Thanos. He's Thanos' brother, if I recall.
I believe he appeared at the end of the Eternals.
Yes, he did. He did appear in the end of the Eternals, for those that do not know.
Spoiler, I apologize, but it is on Disney Plus now, so.
Yeah, it's not that big of a spoiler, They should know by now. If they don't, too bad. Yeah, I think it's he's a good character. One of his power, though, is the power of kind of like a lust power. So basically, he can kind of get people to fall in love with him. He can exude this kind of a I don't know, a will over people, if that makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see how they portray him in the MCU, because that can be borderline kind of rapey, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how that goes.
They might make a change to like love. I mean, it's still kind of creepy, but not as creepy. That's PG-13 instead of R.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's a good character to pair up with someone. Now let's think of who we would want to pair him up with.
Who's someone that's always angry and doesn't like any? Who's like somebody man-hating that? Because that uses power on them probably. We're going full out with the rape right now.
Oh jeez.
No. Those of you listening at home, we are not. That was a joke.
Well, actually, there is a character in Invincible that actually did rape Invincible. That happened in the comics. It was a woman. If we're going like just throwing it out there, that did not go over very well. I mean, actually, it was an interesting topic to bring up in the comic book world, and it did happen. Where a woman took advantage of a man in that type of situation. It's almost always the other way around, but in this comic book world, it went that way. But that character, I don't think we're going to be talking about. So we're gonna just.
Yeah, well, this is who's is there anybody like?
I think I have somebody.
Okay.
Crimson Fox. Crimson Fox is a character from Justice League Europe / Justice League International. And she exudes pheromones that can make other people fall in love with her and do what she wants. So you have two characters with the ability to make the other character do exactly what they want. So wouldn't that negate each other?
Yeah, so either it would like we work really well, or we actually get natural, realistic emotions and experiences with the two of them.
Right. Or maybe like, let's say they can turn off their powers every so often. So maybe what if like Crimson Fox is like, hey, hon, it's my turn today for you to do whatever I want. And he's going to be like, okay. And she's like, so I'm going to use my powers on you. And he's like, okay. And then she uses her. Maybe that could be like a sexy little thing that they do, like a role play thing in a way. Could work.
I mean, it's probably the least rapey option.
Yeah, it gets rid of that, which is good because we don't want that. That's definitely something that we don't want happening in these types of scenarios. We want everybody to be willing and joyous in this factor. So yeah, I think with Star Fox, I think the Crimson Fox. So we have two foxes. Geez, this is just perfect. God, yeah, this works. This could work really, really well. And even if their powers negate each other, we're still going to get like a regular relationship out of the two. They'll just be talking back and forth and trying. And for the first time, maybe for both of them, they're trying to actually have a real relationship because neither one of them can overpower the other one in that way. Kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good pairing.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. And, I will say, like I've always said, when it comes to the pinnacle of relationships in comic books, everybody almost always looks at two different ones. You have your Superman and Lois, and you have your Archie, Betty, Veronica triangle. Now, my question to you, and this will be the last one that we talk about before we go out on. My question to you is, your Archie, do you choose Betty or do you choose Veronica? Who do you choose in that scenario?
Betty, definitely 100%.
Yeah? Betty?
Oh, yeah. Definitely to go with the smart one.
Well, I don't think Veronica's dumb by any means.
No, but Betty is like super smart. She's like nerdy smart. So
yeah, I would go with Veronica. She has the financial stability there, so that's nice. Dad's rich. She's got money. Plus, she's very attractive, and she's super into Archie, or me as Archie, I guess you could say, if I'm pretending to be Archie. Yeah, and she's willing to fight. So's Betty. I don't think you would lose either way. I don't think there's a way that you're losing out. Like you're going to be like. It's just it was funny. They even played this out in the comic books where Archie married Betty, and it was kind of like a whole what if, and they did a whole storyline about Archie and Betty getting married and what happened. And then they followed that up with Archie marrying Veronica and what would have happened in that case.
Honestly though, like they did this a little bit in the TV show, but honestly, I think his best fit in the comic was Josie. So
yeah. Well, she can't bring her pussycats along, so it's just Josie and Archie. Huh?
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, the musician. I mean, come on.
Yeah, she's in a band. That's pretty attractive. That could be attractive to any dude, really. Take you on tour or whatever. That could be cool. Money, fame, fortune. Yeah. I could see that too, actually. So that's a good choice on your part. Well done, Chris. Well done. So I think that's going to do it for us for tonight, for this evening, for this morning, whenever you're listening to us this afternoon. It's 3 a.m., right? No, it's not. But yeah, so thank you for joining. We do have a couple sponsors we'd like to quickly mention. We have Half's Hot Sauce, and we have Splattered Frog Brewing. Please make sure to check them out. halfshotsauce.com or splatteredfrog.com. You can put in, we will always have discounts and coupon codes and stuff that we'll be talking about on our live podcast that we do pretty much every Monday on YouTube Live under the Rumble Spoon Productions page. So check us out there. You can find all of our audio podcasts all over the place. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our Heart Radio, Spreaker, any of those really. You can find us on, and a whole multitude of others. If you can't find us on one, let us know, and we'll get on that platform for you. But with that, my name is Donald.
And I'm Chris.
And this sexy time was brought to you by The Real Short Box. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we will see you
at the comic book shop.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
This has been The Real Short Box. We'll see you at the comic shop. Thanks for listening.